In this Star Wars Jedi Survivor news update video, I will be sharing with you a bunch of new story details. These have been revealed by Cal's actor, Cameron Monaghan, in a series of interviews he's taken part in over the past few days. Before we do get into today's news though, make sure you do subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any future Jedi Survivor videos, including news updates. So let's just get straight into what he said, and the first topic is about the gameplay trailer. He said that he thinks it's a great introduction into the scope and the size of the new game. He adds that the game is really ambitious in how it's furthering and progressing not only the gameplay elements from Jedi Fallen Order, but also furthering the story and the characters as well. Cameron teases that we are starting to see hints as to where the story is going to branch off and what options you are going to be given as a player. He also says that the gameplay trailer is really just a small preview, because even though it does reveal some cool and exciting things, it doesn't give away the whole gist of what is going to be done in this new game. He also thinks people are going to be really pleasantly surprised by just how this game progresses and where it goes as you get deeper into it. We also have a few quick notes about Cal as to where he is in his story from Cameron. So apparently his worldview is shifting and desperate times are calling for desperate measures. Cal is also finding it very difficult to understand what he's fighting or what to protect. In the early part of this game, we are going to see what directions Cal is making and how and who he's going to be making them with. The story shifts and changes in really interesting ways apparently, and one of the big questions Respawn are exploring is how the relationships change with various characters. But also Cameron has teased that he's going to be teaming up with some very exciting people. But more importantly, he wants Cal's story to be satisfying, to accomplish things he sets out to do, and have satisfying exploration. A lot of people have been wondering where is Merrin and Grease, and why is Sia on her own? Well, Cameron says, what happens when there's stress on a family? What we end up finding in the story is a really complicated and exciting development to how we want to approach the character, and I think it's not only exciting, but also emotional and beautiful, and it treats the audience with a level of respect that I think a lot of people are going to really appreciate. The centre of the Star Wars Jedi game series is an emotional centre, the relationship Cal has with his adopted family. Adding on to this emotional centre, Cameron says that we are going to be exploring some very challenging questions. There are going to be big questions Cal will face, and he's going to make decisions that I can't wait for people to talk about. He also goes on to say he wants to genuinely see everyone's reactions and their perspectives to what Cal does in the game. To cap off this section, he says it's going to be an emotional rollercoaster for people, and I think you have just to be made of stone for it to not hit you in the heart. So already, we don't even know what he's talking about, but he's saying it's going to be a tough story to deal with. There was also a few questions about how the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order came about, and Cameron says that when they were making the first game, they all had aspirations to do more of it, if it was successful. It was apparently dependent on what the reaction was to the first game. As we know, Jedi Fallen Order was hugely successful. But at the time, Cameron does say that it felt like everyone was already prepping from the end of working on Fallen Order to start work on a sequel, even though it hadn't been greenlit yet. He says he won't forget the rap party they had for Fallen Order, and Stig Asmussen, the game director, asked him, "What do you want to do?" Cameron had questions on what he wanted to explore, those being, what does it mean to be on the light side of the Force? Especially what happens when you have situations where you can't necessarily win, and you're faced with a challenge where there's not necessarily a right answer. What does that mean to be a good person? At that Fallen Order rap party, Cameron says these were the questions that he spoke to the team about, and then the writing team who created this Jedi Survivor story sat on it and had similar feelings, and then for the next year wrote about it. Cameron then said they started filming once that had been done. When asked about allies, Cameron points us to the various allies that we see in the trailer, such as Bode Akuna, who Cameron says we are introduced to early in the game and becomes an interesting ally. In many ways, he's going to be Cal's first sort of brother, and he's a companion who has had a similar journey as him, but has made different decisions along the way. This is just me speculating, but does this perhaps hint that he might be a former Jedi as well? Cal apparently sees him as a companion, and according to Cameron, some of his favourite things about the new game is the dynamic between Cal and Bode, and Bode has some pretty show-stopping scenes, so he says. Almost literally no one asked him questions about the potential High Republic Jedi that we see in the Bacta tank, but he did answer one question about it, and he says, you need your antagonist to have reflections of the main character. With our story, we have adversaries who really do push Cal to his absolute limit, not only physically or psychologically, but ethically as well. We have challenges that are really difficult for Cal to contend with, and we have complexity with the villain's motivations. I'm a real big fan of what they've done with the darkness and the villain side of it. So this pretty much does confirm, as we expected, that this former Jedi, the one missing an arm, the one that is also missing an arm in the trailer that has a red lightsaber, is the main antagonist of this game. And a question many of us Star Wars fans have been asking for quite some time now is, when is Cal showing up in live action in his own Disney Plus series, or getting a cameo in one of them? Well, Cameron was asked in almost every interview about this, and specifically, how can we make Cal show up in live action? And Cameron says he honestly doesn't know. All he can say is, while it would be very cool, our focus right now is to make sure we tell a satisfying story within the video game. From there, who knows, but hopefully people really enjoy Jedi Survivor. I can say I love Cal, and it's been a joy finding him over the past few years, so we'll see. Part of me does think he knows that Lucasfilm want to do it, because Cal is such a popular and well-liked character. So I think they're just trying to find out how they can put him into a live-action scenario, which would be great. But I would also like to see his story's conclusion in a game, in the third game in this probable trilogy of Jedi games. What do you think to all of this information? Let me know down in the comment section below, and I will share all of the links to the full interviews, because that's only a fraction of each interview, in the description below, so you can go and read them for yourself. If you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like to help support the channel, and subscribe so you don't miss any future Jedi Survivor videos. Click on the playlist on screen if you did miss any, and I shall see you in my next Jedi Survivor video. Goodbye.